14 years in production. 34,397 Kickstarter pledges. $2.1 million raised from crowdfunding. Alpha access for 10 years. And a single player campaign which still hasn't been released yet. I am of course talking about Star Citizen. This multiplayer sandbox space simulation has had a lot of criticism over the years. There have been concerns raised about it being too ambitious, about the development cycle taking too long, and of course the actual funding of Star Citizen. And yet this is not new territory for the game's director, Chris Roberts. Despite the negativity, Star Citizen still boasts a very large player base. So popular is this title that there's been a CitizenCon hosted every year since 2013. Player estimates range from anywhere between 1 million to 19 million, which would theoretically mean it's within the top 10 MMOs. I briefly played this title last year and I vowed that I would return to give it my full attention and my full and honest review. So if you want to know why this title is so popular and why it has got so much bad press, then stick around as we delve into Star Citizen in 2024. So let's start at the beginning. Star Citizen was indeed partially funded by Kickstarter. They stated at the start that they already had the funding for the game, but they had some stretch goals that they wanted to achieve with the help of crowdfunding. They collected money on their own website as well as Kickstarter, and combined they raised $6 million. Now what people don't know is that Star Citizen also planned and still plans on having a single player campaign. This comes in the form of Squadron 42, and I won't lie, the trailer looks good and it shows how ambitious this project truly is. Oh, and to add to it, they even casted Gary Oldman.
I am very disappointed!
But the key figure to remember is that this Kickstarter ended in 2013, and to put that in perspective from a Kickstarter standpoint, Elite Dangerous, which is also an online spaceflight simulation game, started its Kickstarter in 2012 and released in 2014. But not only that, since 2014 it's also expanded into an FPS with ground combat. To also give you some perspective, No Man's Sky was developed over 3 years by Hello Games, who are a small studio in Guildford. And have you seen Guildford? To be fair, if you go in any other direction away from Hello Games Studio, it's actually quite nice. Naturally, when a Kickstarter is seemingly slow to release or to deliver on their promises, they're instantly called a scam by the masses. But the thing is, you can actually play Star Citizen in most of its glory, which is more than what I can say for certain other popular MMO Kickstarters, which are 100% not a scam. Wink. Oh, and whilst I've got your attention and talking about scams, I do have membership. So if you want to support the channel further, feel free to become a member, where you get access to the secret Discord channel, where you might see some behind the scenes footage of my projects I'm working on. But anyway, back to the video. So if you do want to know more about Star Citizen, then stick around as we delve into the ins and outs of this game and whether it's actually worth playing in 2024. And with that, let's begin with the gameplay. So let's get right to the point. Even though this title is still an alpha, there is a lot you can do in game, and I mean a lot. However, if I was to try and simplify the game loop, it would simply be this. Ships equal money. Money buys bigger ship.
Shut up and take my money.
Bigger ship, more money. There is no character progression in terms of skill points. Your progression is very much locked into what you are piloting. There are a number of different jobs to choose from, and depending on what ship you have, the easier these become. Jobs can vary from simple delivery contracts to spaceship salvaging, mining, and of course bounty hunting. You can do contracts alone or in a group, with the idea being that the harder contract might require a team. For instance, for the spaceship salvaging quest, you can do it solo or you can take a crew with you to help speed up the overall process. I got to see this firsthand and became a spaceship forklift driver. Sort of, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Catches it, then lift it up, and then move it over to where, like, wherever.
And as you can clearly tell from the footage, I was an asset to the team, and no one had to reorganize the boxes I had already stacked. I know what you're thinking, I get to move boxes in a game, talk about living the dream. However, my role soon changed when we came under attack from an enemy spaceship who clearly just didn't like the looks of us. But what makes this game truly immersive is the fact that the sheer size of the ship meant that I had to run from one end to the other to get into a gun turret to try and help defend against this spacecraft. And I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't find the gunner seat for the life of me. Like, you have to actually physically get up and go to the position you're gonna control. There's no like push a button to switch seats. You have to physically go there. And this ship was huge and I just ended up getting lost. But luckily our pilot was actually quite skilled. So we managed to outrun this ruffian, we got to keep our cargo, and I got a big fat payoff.
Nice!
And by the way, all of this was done without any load screens. The immersion doesn't just stop there. When you die, you spawn at a station in your bed or a medical bay. You then need to walk to the docking station, then call your ship, take off from the planet, and then travel back to where you need to go. Not only does this stagger your spawn, it makes you really think about death and the ball ache it can be. So when you're a fucking noob like me, who is still trying to figure out the controls for space travel, fucking up a landing can really set you back. How do I slow down? Crunch, I'm gonna fucking hit the station.
Hold shift and push S.
Oh fuck, we're fucked, we're fucked, we're fucked, we're fucked. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Did you blow up?
Jesus fucking Christ. Every fucking time I get in a fucking ship and I try to fucking go anywhere, this happens. I've just spent...
Steer out of the way, dude.
I fucking did! I pushed the button as you said, and this happened again. Every time you give me advice in this fucking game when it comes to flying, it ends the same, in a fucking fiery ball of death. This wasn't my ship though. Ah, got it. You also have some survival elements in that you need to eat and drink, and that you also need to dress appropriately when visiting planets. You don't want to travel 100,000 light years just to die of exposure. These elements also add to the social immersion. You can go eat hot dogs with friends, go shop for clothes, and have a mini rave. And let's not forget the best bit, it has VoIP enabled. You good, sir? You good? You having a good day? Ah, glad to see you. Yes, very good. Can you buy me a soda, please? He's reacting to me. I have no gold. I'll take a soda. And it doesn't just stop there. This game is also a first-person shooter. You have a variety of guns to choose from. You have ammo and loadouts to consider. And if you die, you're going to lose your gear. So you need to be tactical in what you are doing. But don't panic, you don't lose your ship and you don't lose your money, you'll just literally lose your weapons that you have stored on you at the time, as well as your clothes and all that jazz. It's called Star Citizen for a reason, because you can literally play as a citizen, walk around and be a fucking NPC, or better still, you could be known for being a complete shitter who's just out there pirating all the time and attacking random ships. Oh, that's him there. Get him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
He's mining. He's mining. He's right next to a node of gems.
Hang on. Attention, miner. This is the SS Chode. Put down your weapons. What?
He's in a rock. Look out the window. He's in a rock. He's in a personal miner.
Come in, miner. Do you hear me?
Get out and go kill him. Just shoot him and take his.
He's not in there.
Thing.
It's empty.
He's not there. Did he get out?
I don't know.
What do you think he's got in this storage container? I guess we'll find out.
I don't fucking know. Where is he?
I saw him in the miner when we pulled up. So maybe he logged out to try and hope that his stuff would despawn.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen. So it would seem.
That's funny.
That is actually funny.
Gone. It's dead. It'll blow up his miner too. We gotta back up.
I don't even feel bad. But wait, there's more. If you get caught doing something that you shouldn't be doing, like parking illegally, your ship will get impounded. If you attack another fellow citizen in a restricted zone, you will go to prison if you're eventually caught. And yes, you do have to work off the time in prison or try and escape. So naturally, you have to think about what sort of player you want to be.
He's standing behind me, dude. He's gonna kill me. He's looking sussy. Oh god, who's shooting?
He didn't speak up. I killed him. I feel so bad. I feel like a murderer. Why did you make me kill him?
I didn't tell. I told you not to kill him.
No, you made me kill him. I feel bad now. I might take my own life. I'll do him.
So, you've gotten yourself thrown into jail, but you don't feel like waiting out your time.
And this is when you start to realize why development is taking so long, because they're constantly trying to add new features, new ideas, and new immersion. But the problem is, it doesn't quite work. Before I go into the problems that Star Citizen has, I just want to make it perfectly clear that I've actually enjoyed playing this game, and I do generally think it has potential. But it also has a lot of problems. And for me, I think one of the biggest contributors to this is probably the game engine that they're using. It just isn't powerful enough to run a game of this magnitude. They are using a heavily modified version of CryEngine. A lot of you might not necessarily know what CryEngine is, but let me give you some examples of the games it's produced. Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is graphically very pleasing and probably one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Hunt Showdown, which once again, a very graphically nice looking game and a first person shooter, so kind of bodes well and matches up with Star Citizen to some aspect. And Evolve, which once again is a very nice and stunning looking first person shooter. So the basis for CryEngine seems to make sense. However, when you try to use CryEngine to make a immersive, seamless space game, it doesn't quite have the desired effects. Star Citizen is riddled with faults and bugs. And I know the general reply to this would be, well, it's an alpha, you big dum-dum, of course it's going to have problems. But you don't understand, these problems have been around for such a long time now, and they need to be addressed for anyone to have any real confidence in this title. You have NPCs doing whatever the fuck they like. They honestly ruin the immersion. You have lifts which will just never arrive. You'll be there clicking for ages and they won't come. You have to literally log out and log back in. There's so much clipping, I'm surprised this isn't a Bethesda title. And the AI is somewhat questionable. For example, these are supposed to be hostile mercenaries, and as you can see, when they get shot, they don't really react. The collision detection also seems to be off, but honestly, I think it actually adds to the gameplay because it made this whole interaction a lot more hilarious.
Yeah, I found the button.
I found the button, it's just not opening for me. Oh shit, now it is. Yep. Yep, you're hitting the... Oh god, what the fuck is going on?
You're good, just get in.
And I just feel like all of this could be solved with a better game engine. And they've done a great job with what they've used so far. I mean, like I said, there's no load screens. Starfield can even do that. And it goes without saying that the graphics in this game are honestly some of the best I've seen for a space game. Starfield looks like trash compared to this game. They also have a tracker which you can follow to see what they're working on next and where they are with their deliverables. But honestly, it's just words on a piece of paper. Unless you actually see them in action, it's hard to understand what's actually being developed for this game. And plus, they just keep adding extra stuff to it, which is precisely why the game probably runs the way it does. So yes, we can fall back to it's still an alpha, there's still a lot that needs to be fixed, so all these problems could easily disappear. But the fact is, it's built upon a questionable foundation with CryEngine, which is meant for first-person shooters, but not to this scale. And let's be honest, it's probably too late for them to change that now. But it's not too late to stop adding stuff and actually add some polish to this game. And overall, I just feel like the development of this title, it's just been bloated. They just keep adding to it. I mean, hell, it's been 10 years and the single player campaign hasn't been done yet. And don't get me wrong, I understand that scope creep can occur, but it's going past that point now. And even with all these other issues going on, I think one of the biggest problems that they actually have are the spaceships themselves. You'll see it time and time again that people will bring up the cost of spaceships in Star Citizen. I have also been guilty of doing this. And there's also a lot of misconception because a lot of these spaceships can be purchased in-game. I recently done a video on Star Citizen and I said if it got a certain amount of likes, I would go ahead and buy a $100 spaceship.
This is a superb piece of work. I'm gonna buy a couple right now myself. Link is at the top of the thing there.
Get this video to 1,069 likes and I'll buy a $100 spaceship. And guess what? I did that. I actually went and done it. Here's me buying the ship. It just so happens you can also buy it with in-game currency, which is what I did. Don't get me wrong, it does cost you $200 if you buy it with your $200 that you have.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I know, I'm a fraud. I should be cancelled from YouTube. I'm a despicable human being. But on the other hand, you never see me plug sponsors, and $100 is a lot for a ship. I just want you to know that. Because it is an alpha, there are occasional server wipes, and when the server is wiped, you will lose your ships you've purchased with in-game currency. However, any ships you've bought with real-life cash, they stay with you, they stay on your account. So it's not necessarily something you have to do, but it's definitely a more convenient way to get spaceships. Oh, and there's also limited edition spaceships which you can only buy with cash, and the idea is to help the funding of this project. And clearly they're not struggling to raise funds because they've raised over $600 million in the last 10 years. They do have a pledge store where you can actually buy items for in-game. These include different paint jobs for your ships, some different armor sets, and of course some weapons. I don't think it's necessarily overly monetized, and I understand it in the sense of it's still an alpha and they still need to make money. But I think when you compare it to other games and their monetization, it's not the most predatory, but it's definitely there. And it certainly gives this game the wrong perception. So let's just get down to business. Is this game worth playing? This game is not going to be for everyone. There are certainly elements of it which are definitely raw and need improvement, but if you want to be part of a Kickstarter journey, then by all means this is something that you might want to jump into, simply for the fact that it is playable and there's not much out there which is similar to this. If you look at the market, there's not many games which try to do the same as Star Citizen. No Man's Sky is the closest comparison, and if you think about that game in its first couple of years, it was trash. And I'm not saying Star Citizen is trash, I'm just saying if people tolerated No Man's Sky, then I'm sure there's going to be an audience for Star Citizen. One of the biggest disappointments for me though was just the socialness of the game. There's actually in-voice area chat and no one seems to use it. People will listen to you but they don't necessarily interact. And I feel like this game has such a great opportunity for anyone who's into like some light roleplay, not like that, or just being social with random players. For a game that's trying to be super immersive, the least immersive thing about it is probably the other players. They just don't communicate and I just find that odd. Now I do know people talk in Discord and play, I was doing that with my friends, but if I saw other people I did try to interact, but I got blanked. Maybe it's me, maybe people just find me annoying. But to anyone who's thinking about buying this game, do not go alone. Make sure you have someone to actually hold your hand through the tutorial, because I promise you, when you see the keyboard layout and the buttons you need to push just to do some simple basic ship stuff, you're going to want to need help. I will say this about Star Citizen, it's the first time in a long time that I've had a great sense of adventure with friends. I loved getting on board the ship, all having our own little roles to play, and just generally going on an adventure. It reminds me a bit of Sea of Thieves, the way you all work together to get the job done. And I really feel like there's a good foundation for this game to build upon. It's just a question of, will it ever be truly finished? And on that bombshell, I'm going to end the video there. But if you want to see more video essays like this, more deep dives, then leave a like and let me know in the comments below. But as always, thanks for watching guys. I'll leave a couple of videos on the screen for you right now, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Also, I hope you appreciate the background footage of me landing. I'm now a pro pilot.